It's time for Success in Real Estate with Frankie Griffin, owner and broker in charge of the Palmetto Success Team, certified residential specialist, accredited buyer representative, military relocation professional, real estate appraiser, and author of Success in Real Estate. If you are interested in buying or selling a home, investing in real estate, or having your home appraised, you will enjoy Success in Real Estate. Now, here's Frankie Griffin.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Success in Real Estate. This is Frankie Griffin, broker in charge and appraiser in South Carolina. And as always, I thank you so much for joining us this morning, listening to Success in Real Estate. You'll find all my contact information on my website, just frankiegriffin.com. Again, frankiegriffin.com. And you'll find a lot of information on my website. Love for you to go check it out. But then you can also go to our Facebook page, the Palmetto Success Team Facebook page. And again, if you have any questions or any comments, again, if you don't want to call the show, leave a question on my Facebook page. In fact, I put a status there this morning, sort of giving everybody a heads up on what we're going to be talking about today. So, again, any questions or comments, you can certainly leave a status there, and I'll be checking that periodically throughout the show. But again, we want to help you. Especially if you're buying and selling. And I got to tell you, if you're thinking about selling your house anytime soon, now might be a really good time to start thinking about it, because there are a lot of buyers out right now. A little bit early compared to previous years, it seems like. But there's a lot of buyers. We've got several we're working with now. In fact, I'm having to actually take on some more help. I'm actually hiring another agent to help us out with the buyers. But right now, of course, our team is made up of Stacy Starnes, which is also my partner, and Ashley Jeffcoat, which is excellent with buyers. Buyers just love working with her. She does an awesome job. And we would certainly love to help you. Again, just go to my website. You'll find all our contact information, just frankiegriffin.com, and we certainly look forward to hearing from you. All right, here's where I want to sort of go with this morning. And this issue I've actually talked about before, but it's been quite a while since I brought this up. But these same questions are popping up again. And that is, I'm seeing where a lot of buyers get very concerned when their agent or any agent is asking them to sign a representation agreement, a contract to represent them. And we really don't even know each other that well yet. And I can certainly see that. Why would anybody want to sign a binding contract for representation? You're stuck with it, assuming you sign it. And it's somebody you really don't know much about. You don't know what they can do for you, what they can't do for you. So I can certainly understand that. So there's a lot of hesitation for a lot of buyers. And because of that, a lot of real estate agents don't even ask to get that agency agreement signed. And the problem you run into there, that's a license law violation. The law requires all agents must provide what we call an agency disclosure brochure to any buyer or seller at first substantive contact, and an explanation of what agency is. And all that has to be done right up front. And so let me just start by sort of explaining what this is, and then we'll get into why this agreement is necessary, and then maybe more importantly, who benefits from this agreement. Is this something that the buyer or seller should benefit from, or is this something the agent benefits from? And a lot of discussion about that, so we'll make sure we understand it before we get out of here today. But look, here's what agency is. In South Carolina, we are required by law to practice real estate under the laws of agency. Not every state requires this. Other states use transactional brokerage and other forms of representation, but in South Carolina, we're required to practice under the laws of agency. And in a nutshell, what agency means is this. If let's say, for example, you're buying a house and you would like to use the services of a realtor or real estate agent, then when you're receiving that representation, you have a choice to be represented as a customer or a client. And it's your choice, and you get to decide which it's going to be. But if I'm the agent you're talking to, I have to know. And I have to know which one you choose up front, because that determines what I can, or more importantly, cannot do for you, if you depending on which one you decide to be. Well, if you decide to be a customer, which is what you are initially anyway, a customer, basically, there are a few administrative services we can provide to customers, but we cannot provide any form of legal representation at all by law. That includes even opinions. If you wanted to make an offer on a house, I couldn't even suggest to you what the house is worth. I can't suggest to you what you should offer, because these are my professional opinions, and by law, I cannot provide you those level services. But the main thing I would just say that you better keep in mind, and I'm going to sort of come back to this a few times throughout the show, but as long as you choose to be a customer, which does not require a written agreement at all, understand nothing you say can or will be kept confidential. In fact, if you might have heard these words before, but as long as you're a customer, anything you say, any information you provide, it can and will be used against you.
And now, the Mortgage Update with Erica Hill West on Success in Real Estate.
How you doing, Miss Erica?
I'm doing well, and yourself, Frankie?
Oh, it's such a fine, warm day today.
Is that what you're telling yourself?
Yeah, I'm convinced.
That it's warm?
It is nice. It is nice. It's been miserable the last couple of days. We finally got a nice day now.
Yeah, I hope so. Apparently, it's supposed to snow on Monday?
No. Shh. Don't be talking like that. We don't talk.
My husband says that's not likely. But.
Well, you know what? I assume you're seeing the same thing, and I kind of led off the show with this, but we're seeing a lot of buyers out very early right now.
Yep.
Are you seeing that?
Yep. That's what we were just talking about this yesterday. We had, we probably have almost close to 30 people who are pre-qualified just in the last couple weeks.
Wow.
It's great because people are going to go out and start looking now. I don't know if they're trying to get ahead of, the spring rush where all of a sudden, there may be more inventory that comes on the market, but there's more buyers too.
Yeah.
So I think some people are trying to get out ahead of that.
Well, and I think people are starting to feel better where they are financially now, and I think they realize these rates. We've been saying this, I know, for 3 or 4 years now, me and you, but these rates have got to be going up at some point.
Sometime.
Of course, now I'm beginning to think that might not be the case. They may not ever go back up again, but
they will.
Yeah, it will. But you know what? It's a great time to buy. Home values are still low. Now, they've been going up, so for homeowners, that's a good thing. Values have been increasing and will continue to increase. But still, a really, really great time to buy. And I wanted to ask you, and I think you may have had someone call you about this, because as I always do, if it's a question about finance, I said, nope, here's the number to call. Not even going to try to answer it, but did you get a phone call from anybody asking about the necessity of having a Social Security number to apply for a mortgage?
Yes.
And what was your answer? I'm curious to know myself.
Her specific question was that she had a client that had a specific type of visa, And unfortunately, the visa that he had made him ineligible to purchase. So, and that's what I was trying to tell her. I was like, typically, if you have a visa, you're going to have a social. That's
right.
just how it works. If you don't have a social, then you probably aren't here in any legal capacity, or you don't meet any of the financing guidelines for people who are not residents or are alien residents in order to qualify for a mortgage.
Well,
does that make sense?
Yeah, makes
so
perfect sense to me.
A backwards way of saying it all, but it her specific question was, well, he has a social, but he has this type of visa, and I said, well, the guidelines are going to go off the type of visa he had. He didn't have a work visa, so it didn't work. He's not earning income here in the state.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, and you know what? You're going to have more and more of these situations come up, apparently, the way things are going today.
And we've done, and I told her, I said, I've done a lot of loans for people who are not American citizens. We've done a lot, especially with Michelin being here and being in Greenville and BMW up there. I've done a lot of loans for people who are not U.S. citizens, but they met all of the visa and legal paperwork documentation to qualify for a mortgage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I got to tell you got a huge compliment during the class yesterday.
Oh, gosh.
And it even made me feel good. It had nothing to do with me. But, in fact, the same student or person that I sent to you or asked you to call about this question actually made the comment to the class that she had called you about this question, and she had talked or had called, I think she said 2 other lenders asking about it. And you responded within 30 minutes of letting her know something, and then followed up very quickly with the information she needed. She has yet to hear even an acknowledgement from the other lenders that she contacted.
Well, I try.
Well, and you're very good at that, and I do appreciate it. And I know you probably have a separate ringtone just from when I call.
That's right. That's what I do. So that it's on priority alert.
Yep. Oh, that's just Frankie. We'll catch him later. But no, you're always very, very quick to respond, and it's easy to do, but so many people just sort of put that off. Especially if you know it's not something that's probably going to work out, there's that tendency not to even mess with it. But at least you have the professional courtesy to call and let us know what the situation is, and I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Of course. Well, no, I think if everybody would approach business in the way that we respond to, or our lack of response, to inquiries or potential business, I try to treat people and respond to people the way that I would want to be responded to. And I think it works out.
Well, that's why you're doing so well, and that's why you're so busy. And I know, excuse me, you have a Facebook page, Mortgage Go-To Gal.
I do.
With so much information on there, and I know people are looking at it because they tell me about it. But how else can we get in touch with you if we need to? You
can reach me on my cell phone. My number is 803-528-5019. Or you can email me at ewest@mortgagenetwork.com.
Awesome. Well, you're going to be getting calls apparently because there's a lot of buyers out there, and looking forward to the busy season. And
Well, we are ready and we are available on the weekends after hours. Just let us know.
Thank you so much, Eric. Hope you have a great weekend.
You too. Bye-bye.
Take care. And we want to go straight to our phone lines right now. We're first up. We've got Steve. How you doing, Steve? Is Steve or who we got? There's Steve. You on with us?
I am.
All right. How you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing good. Thanks for taking my call.
Awesome.
Hey, Frankie, I was planning on, in fact, attending your school in a couple of weeks to get my license, become a real estate agent. And I just have a couple of questions if you could maybe answer them for me.
I'll certainly do my best.
I really have two. And one, the first one is, on a typical buyer, how many times do you think you have to show a buyer homes how many homes do you have to show them before they typically decide on a home that suits their need?
Well, you know what, Steve, that's a good question, I don't know that I've got a specific answer for that, but obviously there's going to be a lot of variables. One's going to have a lot to do with how serious is that buyer, and when I say how serious, how soon do they need to buy a house or need to move, and two, the agent's ability to help figure out what the buyer is looking for, and this is not as easy as you might think. And in defense of some agents, the reason we have such a hard time finding the right house is because we haven't figured out exactly what the buyer's looking for, and the reason for that, for a lot of buyers, they haven't figured out what they're looking for. So we're just out there looking and looking and looking until something looks right. So, one of the things I've done, we've actually come up with for a lack of better words, I call it a buyer profile, but it's a couple of pages of information and questions that I ask buyers to help fill out. Because then that gives me very specific data and information about what that buyer's needs are. In fact, every time a buyer fills it out, the very first thing they'll come back and say is, "Oh, you know what, Frank, we never even thought about this, but we absolutely have to have it." But I put stuff out there, put a lot of information in front of them that they need to tell me. Do they need this? Do you want this? Well, how do you want this? Well, in that kind of stuff. And it takes about 15 minutes to fill out the information, but then I have a very good idea of what that buyer's needs are and what they're looking for. And hopefully we can streamline the process that way. Good question.
Do you find that with the proliferation of the Internet that more on-site visits to a home is being eliminated by all the videos and pictures of homes on the website?
Well, if I understand your question, I absolutely believe a lot of properties, homes for sale, are being ignored because they have very unprofessional photos and or videos. Is that your question to begin with?
Yes, that is.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I've said this many times. If you've got your home on the market, say, for example, for $200,000, when I pull that up online and I'm looking at the pictures, because that's what all we got to look at is the pictures. Well, there better be something in those photos that looks like it's worth $200,000. Because if it's not, then we're going to move on. And this is why I use Jerry Bilton. Eagle Photography. All he does is real estate. He's a professional real estate photographer, and I would put his photography up against anybody's. He just does an awesome job. In fact, he's sitting here staring at me now on the other side of the video camera. But even if he wasn't here, I'd say the same thing. But another valid question, Steve, because it's very important to have good photography. You talking about a return on the investment? That's going to be it. In fact, that a lot of times is a difference in whether you even get somebody to look at your house or not. Okay?
Well, those were my questions, and I appreciate it, and look forward to the school in a couple of weeks, and I understand that you give a little bit of a discount for those that call in with a question.
Well, I do, and I'll be more than happy to do that. Yeah, anybody calling in that would like to take any kind of real estate class, licensing class that is, love to help you. We'll give you a $50 discount for that. How about that?
That's great. That'll work out real well for me.
All right, buddy. Well,
Frankie, thank you so much.
You have a good weekend.
Uh-huh.
All right, let's go straight back to our phone lines where now we've got Don. How you doing, Don?
Good morning. How you doing?
Oh, it's such a blessed day today.
Amen to that. Every time I apply for a mortgage, I get a no credit history, and I've lived by the cash method for over 10 years, and I pay my rent on time every month and so forth. And I could get a letter from the guy I rent from saying I've done that, but I can't get anybody to lend me money for a small house because I have no credit history.
And that's a shame, isn't it? Don.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, you'll find no credit is much worse than bad credit.
Yeah,
It's
I don't
insane.
understand that though. You know,
Yep.
I got money for a down payment, and I've done well. I have $2,000 guaranteed income every month.
Mhm.
I'm working, and I make another couple thousand every month.
Well, I'll tell you, are you looking to buy a house? Is that what you're wanting to do, Don?
Yes,
Well, I tell you what, after the show, give me a call after the show. We'll get this for you. There are some things you can do, and to get to establish the credit that you need to be able to get the loan. And I can help you with that along with Erica. But we'll get it for you if that's something you want to do.
Okay, at the same number.
Well, no. In fact, I'll give you my cell phone right over the air. How about that?